Hi, everyone. Welcome to the debut episode of the Speed Group Driver Report. We're going to profile some of the Speed Group drivers and let you get to know them a little bit better and also preview and review their upcoming events. And our very first guest is Liam McNeilly, 18-year-old from the UK who's racing in the USF Juniors Championship. Liam, let's get in right into it and let people know a little bit about your background before we start on this season, which has gone quite nicely. Already a win and a couple of podiums as well. What's your background before you came to the US this year?
Yeah, so I mainly started karting in Europe. So I did a lot of sort of European karting, and then I moved sort of into the Ginetta Junior Championships for 3 years in the UK. Um, and then after that, I finished second in 2021 and then third in 2022. And then I moved up to the GB4 Championship for 2023 and finished third in that with two wins and I think 10 or so podiums. So pretty good. A good season to build on. And then yeah, we moved over or moved across to USF Juniors. And yeah, it's going really well so far. Got a win under my belt, which is good, and just building on some solid foundations that we've built at Nola and Barber.
Now, for our US audience, describe a Ginetta Junior car. It's a type of sports car. This is a little bit different path than most of the kids that are coming up through the USF Juniors program.
Yeah, so it's very similar to sort of Miata. Very it builds up your sort of racecraft quite well. Sort of really close and bumper to bumper racing. So yeah, a lot of drafting. And no one really breaks away in that. And you can really stay close to each other, which is good. And sort of it really builds up your sort of racecraft, I guess, to make the switch into single seaters.
How did you get into motorsport?
Well, my dad raced as sort of an amateur driver, and then he sort of yeah, I sort of just got into it sort of that way really. He was racing towards the end of his career, and then whilst I was sort of wondering what I wanted to do, sort of thing, it was like, well, sort of racing's I really enjoyed it, so yeah, basically got into it that way.
And I assume that helps significantly because he has a little knowledge of the industry and he's pretty involved.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, he runs a team in the UK as well, so very knowledgeable and yeah, that's sort of the way I got up into sort of my motorsport career, and then obviously started in sort of karting, and then yeah, just built up from there really.
But the US is very different for both of you. Why did you come over?
Yeah, obviously very different to the UK. Obviously, the scholarship is a big factor of sort of why anyone comes across and from Europe to the UK. Obviously, the path to Indy is very straightforward. Sorry, IndyCar, it's very straightforward, and rather than the UK, we're sort of looking at options. There's not many opportunities that you get in the UK with the sort of winning the fund or sort of any sort of if you win the championship, any sort of prize that you get, and that's what the main sort of thing that we looked at the US, and you do just get a very straightforward step by step ladder to IndyCar, which is mega, and that's what we sort of the main reason really.
The GB4 series is highly competitive, and we've seen a lot of people move their way up. How does that car compare to the USF Junior car?
To be honest, it's very similar. It's very similar speeds, very similar sort of aero or downforce. So the main difference is that this car doesn't have a turbo, so you don't sort of have to drive it the same sort of way. It's a bit different driving style, and obviously the main difference is that this car's got the halo, and the GB4 car doesn't, which is sort of the main thing that you look at, and it's oh yeah, wow, it's the main difference really.
So you're going back and forth because you're also in school. That's pretty unique. What are you studying? What's the challenge of being able and trying to do both at the same time?
Yeah, so I study at Loughborough College, which is part of sort of the Motorsport UK Academy in the UK, and it's very good because it's sort of 2 weeks at the college and then 2 weeks away. sort of it helps trying to build students' careers, sort of thing. And we always have Fridays off for sort of testing, or if anything coming up on Friday, you're available for that. And yeah, to be honest, it's going well. They're very good, and they allow time off for, especially when I'm racing in the US. A lot of time for flights, etc. So yeah, just studying and yeah, going really well.
What's your experience in the US been? You've been over several times since you made the switch to race in the USF Junior program with Jay Howard Driver Development. Did you have much experience in the US before?
No, not particularly really. I used to come over here for quite a few holidays. That's pretty much it, but no racing experience. And so the first test was sort of October, sort of last year, I think August, no, around that sort of time, at Gingerman, in around near Chicago. And yeah, that was it really. And yeah, we had a test and then another test at the start of January, and then that was it really. It sort of just went from there, and then yeah, it sort of just all came together really.
And then the season started at NOLA, first time that the series has raced there in quite some time. And that went quite well. You had good battles all weekend with the much heralded Sebastian Weldon. People recognize his name, the son of Dan Weldon, who won the Skip Barber Championship last year. You won the pole and you got one of the races, and you were on the podium all three.
Yeah, no, exactly. A great start. Just managed to, get that first pole of the season, which is always, gets a bit of confidence going, and yeah, managed to get a race win, and obviously just really good points for the championship. 3 podiums. I was a little bit disappointed in the last race, but sort of just got to look ahead, and you can't win them all. So yeah, no, good points and good podiums, which is good.
What'd you make of Barber Motorsports Park? That to me would seem, if you haven't been there before, to be pretty daunting with the elevation changes and some blind corners.
Yeah, Barber was crazy. Nothing that I've ever really experienced before. And yeah, all the elevation changes, all the blind crests, just getting used to them all, which is yeah, bit difficult, but yeah, no, really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the track and the racing, and yeah, I can't wait to go back. Really.
You finished fourth in race one, finished ahead of the guy who was leading the points, Sebastian Weldon. So that's always a positive. And then Charlotte's Web, the big spider in turn five that catches a lot of people, got a lot of people this weekend, got you in race two. But here, what are we, 5 rounds in? You're third in the championship. So I think all things considered, you feel pretty good about where you're at right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think we didn't really expect to be sort of where we are at the moment. So, I really can't complain. And obviously we've still got a lot of races to go. So, anything can happen really. And, we've sort of had our bad race. So hopefully it's out of the way now, and, we can just keep going for Virginia in a month and a bit's time.
Yeah, mid-June for VIR. That's the next points race. I think you've got a test coming up. What else is on the horizon before we get to June?
Yeah, so we've got a series test at Mid Ohio. Not this weekend, next sort of, I think it's the 15th and 16th of May. Yeah, new track for me as well. So sort of just building some time on the sim, and just getting used to still some more blind crests. But yeah, I think the sim's really been helping me sort of transition over to the US. Just getting some pointers on the sim, anything that can sort of help me, going forward. And I think, it seems to be working, which is good.
Liam McNeilly is new to racing in the United States. He's in the USF Juniors program, third in the championship for Jay Howard Driver Development, and a part of the Speed Group program, and our first driver on the Speed Group Driver Report. Liam, we look forward to following your progress, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Lee, and this is the Speed Group Driver Reports.